All right, good evening, old school Texas Tech. This is not the greatest week because we don't play in college football, but we're still going to predict the rest of the Big 12 games, which are of course irrelevant compared to these guys over here. I've got my flag up. Anyway, how are you doing, Mr. Kennedy?
Doing well, man. Yeah, it's been an interesting couple weeks for us, that's for sure. I unfortunately missed the game against Colorado where I was at that, the Notre Dame Florida State game and
Yeah.
couldn't have checked my phone, but I did see some replays and one of the fumbles that they call a fumble was clearly not a fumble. But anyway.
Yeah, my take on it. There's people were really emotional on the group, which is fine, which is great. I like it, so it makes Tech fans fun. We're kind of like New York Mets fan, which is my baseball team, but it's like we're like the PG-13 version of the the New- of the New York Mets fans fighting. We fight after games 12, 13 times a year, depending on if we make it to a bowl or whatever. They fight like that for the entirety of the what is it, 162 baseball games, I think. So they do that after every game. But there's definitely right now amongst the Tech fan base, there's basically kind of like two main schools of thought. There's definitely some other thoughts, but some of us, and I'm one of them, think that it's a combination of things. I do not think that I think that we've gotten the short end of the stick with officiating in four games clearly that I can think of. I think I've gotten some private messages from people criticizing about the doing the surveys on the coaches and grading the coaches, but I thought that was all kind of fun and everything. But and I think the coaches have made some mistakes, but I'm not in the camp of blowing up the coaching staff. I'm just not. We've already won 6 games. We still have 2 games left. I realize OU and Texas are not in the conference anymore, but Colorado is a good football team, in my opinion. I was actually very impressed with them. Thought the officiating was terrible, absolutely terrible. I believe that we had terrible officiating this year in the Arizona game, the TCU game, the Iowa State game, and especially the Colorado game. And we overcame 2 of those games and won them. And so you got to give the players and the coaching staff credit for that in my opinion. What do you think?
Yeah, I mean, I've never really been one to blame officials for losses. I've tried to kind of stay away from that. And again, I'm kind of making a judgment on Colorado, and I didn't really see the game. I just saw the forward pass that clearly was get returned for a touchdown, and you think, hey, take that off the board, and who knows, we could have tied it up late, brought it to overtime, and won, or actually won the game. So I don't know. I
Yeah,
but jumping around, I'm not in the camp of blowing up the coaching staff yet either. I do get frustrated with what I see from. I'm less Kitley, more on
the
DeRuiter
rooter.
at times, but at the same time,
Yeah,
I feel like Kitley can't. He gets a little bit of a lead, and he doesn't know what to do after that. So I understand the fans' frustration. I kind of flip flop like a politician does, right? Politicians for it before he's against it, and it's constantly going back and forth because nobody trusts politicians. So I kind of in that same camp with the coaches. It wouldn't break my
yeah.
heart if they both got sent packing. How about that?
All right. Yeah, I'm not in that camp. I think DeRuyter's done a pretty good job with the amount of talent that he's had. I don't think the defensive side of the ball has had an enormous amount of talent since he's been there. Those 2 big defensive tackles were huge for us the first couple of years that he was there. And then we've got so many injury problems on defense this year. Now, who knows with the transfer portal and all that stuff that most of us hate. But if he can keep Jacob Rodriguez and Ben Roberts around at linebacker, and we can get some pressure players, I wouldn't blow up the coaching staff unless we lose the next 2 games. Like let's say we were to get like blown out up in Stillwater, they haven't even won a conference game yet, and we always have a hard time up there, always. Yeah, even the last time we won there with Kingsbury, I think we had a pretty hard time up there. I think memory serves, but we still won. But then West Virginia, they're playing pretty good. I didn't think they would beat Cincinnati at Cincinnati, so they're playing pretty good. And Neil Brown's had a horrible time coming back and playing in Lubbock, so he's going to want to win that game badly. They're playing for bowl eligibility this week. We'll get to that in a second. But yeah, I'm not in the blow up the coaching staff. I think the players for the most part, had played really hard. I get frustrated with some of the pre-snap penalties on the offensive line, that kind of stuff. But that kind of stuff really bothers me, and that's and especially at home, especially at home.
Sure.
But that's that's coaching, and that's just players not being smart. But for the most part, I'm in the camp of kind of keeping this coaching staff together, and I would assume I'm in the minority. Although a lot of people are really vocal about the coaches, but then when I ran those surveys, a lot of people were giving them A's and B's. Some of the coaches like yeah, I think Kidley got, he got more like B's and C's, but I think they're doing a good job. And McGuire to me is a really really good fit at Tech as head coach.
Yeah, and for the record, I had zero issue with you putting a poll up. I know you got a couple of messages, and
You
it's
would
like,
you would you would you
yeah,
wouldn't believe it. It's really
it's
amazing.
it's pretty funny to me because I think I gave Kitley a B and I think I gave DeRuiter a C. I think I'm pretty sure that's how I
Yeah.
voted. Please continue to do them. I will continue to participate.
Yeah, I like doing the polls from time to time. I'll probably do a poll on how people think we'll finish the season off. We still have a lot to play for. We really
Totally agree.
do. It's been since I'm pretty sure I believe it was Leach's last year, the year that everything happened. That was the last time we won 8 regular season games. I believe so. I don't think we've won 8 regular season games since then.
Wow, has it been wow?
Yeah.
I did not.
So we have a chance to do that. We have a real chance to do that, in
Okay.
my opinion. And then it'd be the first time in program history. I get it. Bowls are not as important as they used to be, but it'd be the first time in program history that we've ever won 4 bowl games in a row. If that, we're definitely going to a bowl game. And that would be that's not a big deal for Alabama or Georgia, but that would be a big deal for Tech, in my opinion. So. All right, with no more on that, we're going to move over to predictions. We're going to continue the tradition of you going first. You went 3-3 out of the 7 games, no, out of the 6 games last week. I went 4-2. The difference was, unfortunately, I accurately predicted Tech losing, which I wish I would have been wrong, but that wasn't the case. So now for the season, we both predicted 96 games. You are 63 and 33, and I am 69 and 27. So,
A little bit of
since
distance growing, a little bit of distance growing there, my man.
I just pick up like a game a week or something, but
I think you're
we
cheating, but it's cool, you know.
we could still you could still come back, and
Yeah.
we might do some stuff too. Like we might do the playoffs. We'll do the Big 12 title game for sure. All right, with no Tech on the schedule, the first game that shows up on my queue on the ESPN app is Houston at Arizona, which is actually kind of an interesting one because Houston has some pretty big wins.
Yeah, Houston, they're going in different directions, right? Houston was awful at the beginning of the year and they've gotten better as of late. And Arizona was good to start. They've fallen off a cliff. Where's that one being played at? Remind me.
It's in Tucson. Arizona's favored by 1.5, and the over and under is 46.5. Of course, I've seen Arizona play because they played Tech, and I've watched them in a couple other games. I really haven't seen Houston play this year. To be fair, they especially down here in Ecuador, it's hard to get them on TV.
When they beat Kansas State, I think they just seem to they have a good coach. I'm going to go Houston this time. They seem to be trending in the right direction. They're playing well.
Okay, that's actually tomorrow night too.
Okay.
Or actually, I will probably post this Friday morning, so it'll probably be the night of the it'll be the night that this video is posted.
Okay.
All right, for the Saturday games, the first one is Utah at Colorado in Boulder. Colorado's favored by 11, over unders 45 and a half.
I wasn't expecting Colorado to be favored by that much. I was going to guess it was about a touchdown. I mean, Utah is reeling. They have all kinds of injury problems too, especially at quarterback. Colorado's rolling. They want to get to that Big 12 title game. I'm taking Colorado at home.
Yeah, and the Utah AD just got fined 40 grand for his comments after that game, which I think he actually made some valid points. But
40
anyway,
grand, huh? That's like me handing you probably a $20 bill, though, right?
I don't know what he's getting paid. I don't know what he's getting paid out there. All right, another interesting game. We got Baylor at West Virginia. Um,
That is it.
They're both playing for bowl eligibility. Baylor's favored by 2, over unders 59 and a half. They're both
They
five
are
and
both.
four.
They're both playing pretty decent right now, from what I can tell. And then
Yeah.
Baylor's a few. I think they won 3 in a row now.
That sounds right. Yeah, they
I think,
got hot again. They had to get hot against us.
yeah. I'm gonna go with West Virginia only because it's at home and they're really. I think they're putting it together late. I think they're gonna nip Baylor in a close one.
That's gonna be good. That's gonna be a great game. All right, another interesting one. This is, I mean, the Big 12 predictions at the beginning of the year were so wrong by pretty much everybody. But this is
Like
another interesting
polls,
game. What
like
was
like
that?
kind of like polls, huh?
Yeah. No comment. All right. Arizona State at Kansas State in the Little Apple. K-State's favored by 7.5. I'm surprised it's that much, honestly.
Same here.
The over and under is 51 and a half.
I'm gonna take K State in this one. I think they just have too much at home. They're gonna be pissed off after that Houston game.
Yeah. Um, this is another really interesting one. Um, it's Cincinnati at Iowa State. Iowa State's favored by a touchdown and a half, and the over under is 52 and a half. Remember, they both lost last week. Iowa State was shocked by Kansas. I really thought Cincinnati would beat West Virginia at home. So Cincinnati's playing for bowl eligibility. Iowa State, I guess, is kind of on the outs. They're definitely on the outside looking in now for the conference championship game, but they're not out of it yet.
Yeah, they're reeling, dude. I don't know what the hell happened to them. We beat them, and then Kansas did it too. Kansas had a lot of close losses this year, so
Yeah.
this is a tough one, man. But I think I'm gonna say I think I'm gonna go with Iowa State on this one. I think they're gonna get it together.
Okay. All right. One more. I don't know, not so interesting, but maybe a little bit more interesting considering Kansas played well last week, but Kansas at BYU.
Interesting. Yeah, I think BYU is gonna continue their trend. I do. I feel like they're due a loss, and I feel like they've been due a loss the last couple weeks. They're this that horrible performance where you just go, "Who the hell is this?" Feels like it should happen. So
Yeah.
my better judgment, I'm just going to go ahead and say I'm going to go ahead and take BYU and let them keep rolling.
Yeah, I think I kind of have this feeling that BYU is going to keep rolling until they run into Colorado because I feel like Colorado's getting a little bit better every week. I think after Colorado got us, and like I said, I feel like we could have won that game with some square officials, but we didn't. That's the bottom line.
Yep.
Um, but I think BYU, I think Colorado could beat BYU at a neutral site, especially at we don't we play the Big 12 title game in Vegas this year?
I need to look into that. I thought it was still Kansas City, but you know what?
Oh, okay.
This BYU team kind of reminds me of TCU 2 years ago. You know,
Yeah.
they kept running, then they got massacred in the title game.
Yeah. All right. So I agree with you. I think Houston will go and beat Arizona. I agree with you on the momentum for the momentum's going Houston's way right now. I think Colorado's going to beat Utah, but I think Utah might put up more of a fight than people think. Colorado is probably overlooking Utah a little bit, but you got to give Colorado's coaching staff some credit. They just seem to get a little bit better every week, and that's a sign. That's always a sign of a good team. Um, Baylor, West Virginia. Oh, this is a tough one.
It is.
I'm gonna go Baylor for some reason. It's just the way. That's just what I'm. That's just what I think. Although that's a really tough place to play, but I'm gonna take Baylor. I'm going to take Kansas State to beat Arizona State. I just think Kansas State, they'll just return to like solid fundamentals, and they probably won't turn the ball over. But Arizona State's been a great story this year. Definitely hired a good young coach. They're going to be there, to me, I went out to a game there one time. I've talked about it before on here. To me, that's gonna be a good place to recruit in the years to come. So I think Arizona State's got some good days ahead, but I think they'll lose in Manhattan. Cincinnati, Iowa State. I keep getting burned on Cincinnati. I keep thinking they're gonna get that one more win. I don't know. Vegas has it 7.5. That's going to be a tough environment. I'm going to go with Iowa State, and then I'm going to take BYU over Kansas. But I agree with you. BYU they're due for an upset. So
Yep. So where we basically picked you picked really just one game different than me, didn't you?
yeah, I picked Baylor over West Virginia, I believe. Oh
Well,
no, yeah, I picked Baylor over West
this is the
Virginia.
week for me to go 6-0, man. It's coming right now. So
Yeah, yeah. All right. All right. Anything you want to add?
no, it's a dull football week with no Texas Tech. Though, what can I say?
Yeah, yeah, it is. But we'll be back. Please subscribe, like, comment. We'd really appreciate it. And then we'll be back next week with more. We're gonna have we'll talk about. We'll preview the Texas Tech game up at in Stillwater. Which even though Oklahoma State's having they're having an off year, I still think that's going to be a good game.
Totally
And then we'll continue with our Big 12 predictions next week as well.
perfect. Sounds good, my man. It's good seeing you.
Good
Thanks.
seeing you. Anything you want to add?
No, I think we're. I'd love to see us win the last two though. That'd be a nice thing to have 8 regular season wins.
I'd like to win the last two and then get a nice bowl win too.
Oh, that'd be a great way. I think a lot of people would feel significantly better if that happened. You know.
Yeah, yeah. I think it's possible, but we never know who we're going to get matched up with in a bowl game, especially if we win 8 games.
Right. Okay.
All right.
Bye, dude.
Take care. Have a good one.
You too. Bye.